On September 5, 2025, the music world lost a legend, a man whose infectious grin and soulful voice defined an era. Mark Volman, co-founder of the 1960s rock band The Turtles and one half of the irreverent duo Flo and Eddie, passed away at 78 in Nashville, Tennessee, leaving behind a legacy as vibrant as his iconic curly hair. Known for hits like Happy Together and Eleanor, Volman was more than a rock star. He was a teacher, a storyteller, and a man who faced life's challenges with humor and heart. From his days rocking stages with Frank Zappa to teaching music business at Belmont University, his journey was a tapestry of creativity, resilience, and love for those around him. Diagnosed with Lewy body dementia in 2020, he continued to perform with unwavering spirit, his life a testament to living fully despite adversity. Today, we dive into Mark Volman's cause of death, his family, his age, his net worth, his lifestyle, and the biography of a man whose music and warmth touched millions, inviting you to celebrate a life that was, in every sense, happy together. Mark Randall Volman was born on April 19, 1947, in Los Angeles, California, into a home filled with music and contrasts. His father, a Jewish jazz enthusiast, and his Catholic mother, who hummed Puccini, created a lively household in Westchester, a suburb where young Mark grew up with his brother Phil. "I was a kid who'd rather joke than brood," he recalled in his 2023 memoir, Happy Forever, his voice brimming with nostalgia. Music was his escape, and by high school he was singing and playing saxophone in the Crossfires, a surf band that would evolve into the Turtles. A self-described girthy lad who surfed and skateboarded, Mark's charisma shone through, even if his bandmate Howard Kaylan initially invited him into the Crossfires for comic relief rather than musical prowess. At Westchester High School, he rubbed shoulders with future stars like Phil Hartman and, oddly, Charles Manson acolyte Squeaky Fromm, a reminder of the wild 1960s counterculture that shaped him. His early gigs at local dives, filled with surf riffs and teenage dreams, set the stage for a career that would soar to unexpected heights. The Turtles hit the big time in 1965 with their cover of Bob Dylan's It Ain't Me Babe, a top 10 single that launched them into stardom. But it was 1967's Happy Together, a chart-topping anthem, that cemented their legacy. "It's the perfect song," The Doors' Ray Manzarek once said, praising Mark and Howard's two-man barbershop quartet harmony. Mark's frizzy hair and wide grin became synonymous with the band's playful energy, and he famously insured his iconic locks for $100,000 against fire, theft, or illness, a quirky move that made headlines. The Turtles' run included hits like She'd Rather Be With Me and Eleanor, but by 1970, bad management contracts and legal battles over their name forced the band to disband. Undeterred, Mark and Howard reinvented themselves as Flo and Eddie, a comedy rock duo that blended sharp humor with tight vocals. Their stint with Frank Zappa's Mothers of Invention was a creative peak, contributing to albums like Chunga's Revenge and the zany 200 Motels film in 1971. "It was like joining a circus," Mark told People in 2023, laughing about Zappa's wild rehearsals. Mark's musical adventures extended far beyond the Turtles. As Flo and Eddie, he and Howard provided backing vocals for giants like T-Rex on Bang a Gong, Get It On, Bruce Springsteen, Duran Duran, and even the Ramones, their voices weaving into the fabric of rock history. They voiced characters in animated films like Down and Dirty Duck and Strawberry Shortcake, and worked as radio DJs, their wit lighting up airwaves. Mark's life in the 1960s and 70s was a whirlwind of counterculture craziness. He partied with John Lennon and Jimi Hendrix, lived in Laurel Canyon's bohemian heart, and indulged in drugs like weed, acid, and cocaine, later reflecting in Happy Forever that he was among the first in and last out of that iconic scene. Yet, beneath the rock star excess, Mark remained grounded, his humor a shield against the chaos. His 1968 album, The Turtles Present the Battle of the Bands, recorded in 8 different musical styles, showcased his versatility, with producer Hal Wilner calling it one of the greatest obscure records of all time. In 1967, Mark married his high school sweetheart, Patricia Lee Hickey, a union that lasted 25 years and brought 2 daughters, Serena Marie, and Hallie Ray. Pat was my rock through the madness, he wrote in his memoir, crediting her support during the Turtles' hectic years. Their marriage ended in divorce, but they remained close, with Pat and their daughters by his side during his later health struggles. In 2000, Mark married Emily, a partnership that lasted until their 2015 divorce but continued as a deep friendship. Emily, a key figure in his life, cared for him through his Lewy body dementia diagnosis, her presence a constant in his final years. He never lost his playfulness, Emily told People after his death, recalling his big grin even in hospital. Mark's family extended to his brother Phil, a surviving link to their Westchester roots, and his daughters, who inherited his creative spark. Serena pursued writing, while Hallie explored music. Both daughters, along with Pat and Emily, supported him through his illness, their bond a testament to his ability to foster love despite personal challenges. Mark's life took a surprising turn in 1992 when, at 45, he enrolled at Loyola Marymount University, earning a BA in 1997 as class valedictorian, leading graduates in a chorus of Happy Together during his speech. "My parents were perplexed," he chuckled, noting their confusion at his academic pivot. He returned for an MFA in screenwriting in 1999, later teaching music business at Loyola and Los Angeles Valley College. By 2010, he was an associate professor at Belmont University in Nashville, heading the entertainment industry studies program and mentoring students with the same passion he brought to the stage. "Teaching was my encore," he told Rolling Stone, his eyes twinkling. His seminars, offered through his Ask Professor Flo website, shared his industry wisdom, while his advocacy for music rights, fighting uncompensated use of the Turtles' songs, showed his commitment to fairness. His net worth, estimated at $1.04 million in 2025, came from decades of album sales, tours, royalties, and teaching, a modest sum for a man whose true wealth was his impact. Mark's lifestyle was a blend of rock star flair and unpretentious charm. He lived modestly, joking that he spent more on hair insurance than fancy dinners. His Nashville home was cozy, filled with vinyl records and family photos, a far cry from the mansions some imagined. He loved performing, headlining the Happy Together tour into 2025 despite health challenges. Joined by Ron Dante after Howard Kaylan's 2018 retirement due to health issues. Mark's diagnosis of Lewy body dementia in 2020 brought hallucinations, tremors, and concentration struggles. Yet he embraced it with courage. "I want the most out of every day," he told People in 2023, his voice steady despite the disease's progression. Medication helped, and he used his hallucinations as creative fuel, joking about trippy song ideas. A throat cancer diagnosis in 2015, from which he recovered by 2016, had already tested his resilience, but he kept performing, his wide grin a fixture on stage. Mark Volman's death on September 5, 2025, came as a shock, following a brief and unexpected illness tied to a blood disease, distinct from his Lewy body dementia. Hospitalized in Nashville a week earlier, his white blood cell count plummeted, defying doctors' efforts to pinpoint the cause. Even at the end, he had this big old smile, Emily told People, her voice breaking. Surrounded by Emily, his daughter Serena, and close friends, Mark passed in the early hours, his humor intact to the last. Tributes poured in. Alice Cooper, who wrote a foreword for Happy Forever, called him one of the most indomitable spirits I've met, while Howard Kaylan shared on social media, "My brother, my voice, my heart. Gone but forever in every note we sang." Fans flooded platforms like Reddit, mourning the loss of a man whose music defined their youth. His death, reported by Hindustan Times and Business Upturn, marked the end of an era, leaving the Happy Together tour without its final turtle. Mark Volman's legacy is a soundtrack of joy and defiance. From the stage to the classroom, he lived with authenticity, turning personal struggles into art and advocacy. His work with the Turtles, Flo and Eddie, and Zappa shaped rock history, while his teaching inspired a new generation. "He was so smart he shouldn't have been so silly," his aunt and once said, but that silliness, his ability to laugh through pain, made him unforgettable. His memoir, Happy Forever, published in 2023, captured his adventures with over 100 voices from peers like Bruce Springsteen and Chris Hillman, a chorus of love for a man who connected people. As we reflect on his 78 years, his family's closeness, his modest wealth, and a lifestyle that balanced rockstar swagger with heartfelt simplicity, Mark Volman remains a beacon of resilience. If his story of music, humor, and heart has moved you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's honor a man whose voice still echoes in every Happy Together sing-along. Thank you for joining us in celebrating this extraordinary life. Until next time, may Mark's joy inspire you to live fully and love deeply.